The doors to the Viridian Tea House are open once more. Hello everyone, brand new video. I've got lots of stuff to talk about, so let's get into it. So the first thing I want to talk about are my upcoming events. So this Thursday is the Growing Out West Farmers Market in Evergreen. Now, if you are thinking about coming to Evergreen, normally the hours are from 9 to 2, but they've changed it. So it is now 10 to 4 at Cactus Jack's in Evergreen. Once again, the Growing Out West Farmers Market has been moved to 10 to 4, still on Thursday. So hope to see you there, and it's going to be a lot of fun as always. So this Saturday from 1:30 to 4:30 is the Wheat Ridge Farmers Market, which is always a hoot and a holler, and I love it. And it's at the Wheat Ridge Coop and Butcher Shop. So just look for all the tents and come on out. And then Sunday is the Outpost Country Market, which is in Golden, and that's from 9 to 2. So I got 3 farmers markets coming up. So if you're gonna be in Colorado and you're trying to figure out something to do, come by Evergreen or Wheat Ridge or Golden and have some fun at a farmer's market. So I hope to see you there. And then a little bit of shameless promotion. So as many of you know, if you follow me on social media, I have started making stickers. And I think that they're really cute and they're so much fun to make. They really are a lot of fun. So this is my newest one. I love it. You can find this sticker and all my other stickers on my website, viridianteacompany.com. And as always, I'll put the link on the video so you can go right to it and order yourself some stickers. And then finally, my latest novel that I have self-published is finally arrived. This is Maureen by me, and photography was done by me, independently published through Amazon. As you know, most of my work is with Pro Se Productions, but things that my publisher's not interested in, I'll just self-publish it myself. So about this book, this actually happened about 6 months ago while I was eating lunch at home, and I came across a what if. So let me read the back of it for you. It's the beginning of Ella's junior year at Chapdell University in Denver, and all is not well. Her parents continue to control her every move and decision. An older man wants more than she can give, and her life beyond graduation is hazy at best. But when a new friend in the form of an older Jewish woman enters her life, Ella soon discovers that a new and unexpected path has unfolded before her. So you can get copies of this on Amazon, and I will put the link in the video, or you can just go to all my links, and the ordering page is at the top. So once again, my newest book, Maureen by me. And I'm also happy to say that there's an accompanying tea blend. This is Maureen and Ella's Friendship Tea Blend. And this is Ceylon tea, also known as orange pekoe, orange peel, cranberries, and hibiscus. So I've made a little bit of it. I'm kind of flipping things around, so bear with me. This is my first time trying this. So from me to you, a little bit of Maureen and Ella's Friendship. So I immediately get the tartness of the hibiscus with the cranberries, a little bit of the orange peel, and the Ceylon tea, which is a nice black tea. I would consider Ceylon tea to be a little bit milder than an Assam. Assam is very smooth and earthy, but a Ceylon to me is very mild, very black tea, and almost a little bit floral fragrant. But this is refreshing, tart, hint of sweet, but this is definitely Maureen and Ella's Friendship. This tea blend will be available probably tomorrow on my website, viridianteacompany.com. And like I said, this tea blend does go with my latest release, Maureen. So pick them up today and support small businesses. All right, shameless promotion over. Let's get to some awesome books. So this is going to be the Hollywood video. You'll see why in just a minute. So I just want to give mad props to Sheridan Library and Denver Library, Public Libraries. You guys are amazing. So amazing. I will always support y'all. So the first book is written by someone that I've kind of sort of admired for a while. And he was part of my growing up, pretty much. I'm very much Generation X, so I grew up with the Brat generation, the Brats. Oh, what were the movies? Pretty in Pink, Some Kind of Wonderful, Breakfast Club, Less Than Zero, all those movies. If you're a child of the 80s like me, you remember them all. So this book, when I saw it, I said, I have to read it. And that is Brat, an 80s story by Andrew McCarthy. I loved it. Let me just say off the bat, that both of these books I devoured, and both of them do receive 5 pots of tea from Viridian Tea House. Both of these books were excellent, and a real detailed look into Hollywood and actors and actresses that I've watched so many times on the screen, but really didn't know too much about their personal life. So with Brat, an 80s story, I learned a lot, not only about Andrew McCarthy, but about his fellow Brat pack and the Brat generation. So let me read the dust jacket for you. Most people know Andrew McCarthy from his roles in Pretty in Pink, St. Elmo, oh, that's really good. St. Elmo's Fire, Weekend at Bernie's, forgot about that, and Less Than Zero, and as a charter member of Hollywood's Brat Pack. That iconic group of ingenues and heartthrobs included Rob Lowe, Molly Ringwald, Emilio Estevez, and Demi Moore, and has come to represent both a genre of film and an era of pop culture. In his memoir, Brat, an 80s Story, McCarthy focuses his gaze on that singular moment in time and provides an illuminating portrait of the most defining moments of his youth. The result is a revealing look at coming of age in a maelstrom, reckoning with conflicted ambition, innocence, addiction, and expectations of masculinity. Through deeply personal stories of heady days in Hollywood featuring John Hughes and an iconic cast of characters, McCarthy explores the underbelly of fame and the insecurity he grappled with throughout his illustrious career. Ultimately, Brat is at once an exclusive window into a defining period of pop culture history and a surprising intimate story of an outsider caught up in a most unwitting success. And about Andrew McCarthy, if you don't know, since starring in the movies he recounts throughout Brat, Andrew McCarthy has become a director and award-winning travel writer, which I really want to read his travel works, and a best-selling author. He has directed more than 80 hours of television, including Orange is the New Black, The Blacklist, Gossip Girl, and many others. For a dozen years, he served as editor-at-large at National Geographic Travel, and his award-winning travel writing has appeared in the New York Times, The Atlantic, Time, and elsewhere. He is the author of a travel memoir, The Longest Way Home, and a young adult novel, Just Fly Away, both New York Times bestsellers. So let me just get this right off the bat. The biggest thing that really got to me was the fact that he was human. You know, I don't know how some people think, but, you know, whenever I see somebody on the screen, like in a movie or a TV show, I kind of disconnect that they're human, that they brush their teeth just like everybody else. They wash their clothes just like everybody else. They're human. And yet, I was reminded of that fact in reading Brat, an 80s Story. You know, learning about how he got into acting, learning about how he got certain parts that some of them weren't really meant for him, but he tried anyway and he got them. And his character kind of like made the story that he was a part of. Lots of highs, lots of lows, but through it all, I think he has a great dose of humility, and I like that. One thing that he mentioned was how when he started off acting in Hollywood, a lot of the directors would yell, "Action!" But when he became a director, he would say it softly as to not jar the performers. And I really thought a lot more of Andrew McCarthy and the fact that he does that. And what's interesting, if you have Hulu, so apparently there's a documentary called Brats, I think, and it talks about pretty much what he talks about in his memoir. But overall, if you were a fan of the John Hughes films, or you like 80s films, or you grew up during that time, you really owe it to yourself to read Brat. And even if you weren't, but if you just like learning about certain actors and you have respect for Andrew McCarthy, still pick up the book and read it. I found myself just kind of going back into my youth when he talked about certain movies and things that were going on behind the scenes. It's like, wow, you know, you watch this movie and everything is so perfect and it looks so flawless, so seamless. And then you read a book like this and you're like, wow, that was just covering the bubbling chaos underneath. So I truly, truly enjoyed reading Brat, an 80s Story. And I actually started following him on Instagram, and I'm going to tag him on this post when I release the video. So if he happens to watch it, you know, Mr. McCarthy, I have really, really enjoyed your films, and I just love you. You really are an amazing and talented actor, and I am happy that you were a part of my Generation X growing up. So thank you so much. Thank you. And so the second book deals with two other actors that I've always admired, and it also shows me that they were human, that despite their flawlessness, that their flawless performing and their beauty and their jet-setting ways, they were very human. And sometimes that beautiful, smooth exterior hid a lot of damage and a lot of problems and a lot of issues. This is about Vivien Leigh, Laurence Olivier, and the Romance of the Century, Truly, Madly by Stephen Galloway. I am a big fan of Vivien Leigh and Laurence Olivier. And actually, a little story. So the first time I ever saw Laurence Olivier was in high school, and we were watching Wuthering Heights. And I remember this. In fact, I was thinking about it after I read this book, which I devoured this in 2 days, by the way. I remember how seeing Laurence Olivier, he was very young with that black hair and that look in his eye. At some scenes, he was beautiful, just like a god. And then other scenes, he looked hideous. And I couldn't figure that out. I was like, wait a minute, this is the same actor. How is he able to be so beautiful at one point and so hideous in the other? Many years later, I realized, I think that's a sign of an excellent actor, where there was no change in his physical features, but because of the character, he could switch between being beautiful and an Adonis to something hideous and horrific. After that, I watched him in Rebecca, the book by Daphne du Maurier, and the movie was by Alfred Hitchcock. And they talk about behind the scenes of Rebecca in this book, and a lot of it raised my eyebrows. I was really shocked to find out how the actors interacted with each other. And short story, it wasn't pleasant. It wasn't pleasant at all. And then about Vivien Leigh, for the longest time, I thought Vivien Leigh was Southern. I thought she was American. And then when I learned that she was British, that just kind of took me away, because, I mean, you remember her as Scarlett O'Hara. You remember her as Blanche Dubois in A Streetcar Named Desire. You remember her in all these other movies, but those two really stuck out to me. And then I actually looked her up when it was her speech for Best Actress for Gone with the Wind. And the British accent came out, and she was very refined, very polished. And they even talk about that moment in the book. So let me read the dust jacket before I go any further. A sweeping and heartbreaking Hollywood biography about the passionate, turbulent, very turbulent marriage of Laurence Olivier and Vivien Leigh. Excuse me. Oh, that's better. In 1934, a friend brought fledgling actress Vivien Leigh to see Theatre Royal, where she would first lay eyes on Laurence Olivier in his brilliant performance as Anthony Cavendish. That night, she confided to a friend she knew he was the man she was going to marry. There was just one problem. She was already married, and so was he. Truly Madly is the biography of a marriage, a love affair that still captivates millions, even decades after both actors' deaths, which is true. Vivien and Larry were two of the first truly global celebrities, their fame fueled by the explosive growth of tabloids and television, which helped and hurt them in equal measure. They seemed to have it all, and yet, in their own minds, they were doomed, blighted by her long undiagnosed mental illness, which transformed their relationship from the stuff of dreams into a living nightmare. Through new research, including exclusive access to previously unpublished correspondence and interviews with their friends and family, author Stephen Galloway takes readers on a bewitching journey. He brilliantly studies their tempestuous liaison, one that took place against the backdrop of 2 world wars, the golden age of Hollywood, and the upheavals of the 1960s, as they struggled with love, loss, and the ultimate agony of their parting. And about Stephen Galloway, he is the Dean of Chapman University's Dodge College of Film and Media Arts. Prior to joining Chapman in 2020, he was for many years the executive editor of The Hollywood Reporter. So reading this book reminded me of, I'm hanging out with a friend that I hadn't seen in years. We're meeting up at a tea house, and I got my almond croissant and my lapsang shousang, and he is just telling me about these actors that he's been working with for many years. That's what it felt like. It felt like I was having a conversation with Stephen Galloway, and he pulls you in with the story about Vivien Leigh and Laurence Olivier and how their love was smoldering for each other. And yet they were both married to other people. There was a lot of backstabbing, a lot of curse words. You know, I feel so naive when I'm about to say, but I never would have thought Laurence Olivier and Vivien Leigh were capable of using the F-bomb, but apparently they used it a lot. Also, Laurence Olivier was a little kinky. I won't go into that description, that story, but when I read it, I was like, oh, all right then. I also remember Laurence Olivier in the original Brideshead Revisited. I really loved him in that. And who could forget him as Crassus in Spartacus. So yes, there's so many movies that both Laurence Olivier and Vivien Leigh had done, both wonderful, wonderful films and flops. And I actually was thinking about making it a side quest to watch as many of their flops as possible. If I could find them, I was going to try and watch them and see how they would fare in 2024. But yes, there were lies, there was jealousy, there was madness. Vivien Leigh was extremely touched with mental illness, and I just remember feeling so sorry for her and just reading about her rages and flying off the handle and a lot of nudity and just this burning love and obsession for Laurence Olivier and how he felt about her as well, even when he had to walk away from her. But overall, this is one of the best books about Hollywood that I've read. I don't really read a lot of books that deal with actors and actresses, except for, Brat and now Truly Madly. But what stories? Stories that really have colored the movies that I love them in. And just like with all the behind the story scenes with Andrew McCarthy, same thing with the movies with Vivien Leigh and Laurence Olivier. And I just want to go back and watch these movies again and say, okay, at that point you were, oh, why didn't I see that? Oh, wow, that just kind of adds to it. But yes, Truly Madly was a genius work, and I ate it up, just lapped it up like the finest cream. Did these two books change my opinions about these actors and actresses? No. Again, it made me realize they're human, just like me, just like everybody else. And I think that's what makes them so special, that we see them on the screen and we feel so far removed from them, but at the end of the day, they're human. With all their flaws and all of their shining moments, they're human. So many thanks to Stephen Galloway and many thanks to Andrew McCarthy for 2 lovely books that I truly, truly enjoyed reading. Thank you so much. And now let's get to our tea and water meditation. Make sure you have a glass of water or a cup of your favorite tea nearby. Get yourself into a quiet situation. You can either lay down or stand up or sit down, and we're just going to focus on our breathing. That's all. So if you're ready, let's do this. And now let's end this breathing meditation with a deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. Slowly open your eyes or allow your eyes to come back into focus. And now let's have a sip of your water or tea. Oh, that's so good. Okay, now that it's cooling down, I'm getting more of the cranberries with the orange and the hibiscus. Oh, that's exquisite. So that's all I have for today. So many thanks to Stephen Galloway and Andrew McCarthy for giving us such wonderful books to read, and to the libraries to having them, and to all you guys out there watching these videos, and also to the people who do all the farmers markets. Thank you so much for what you do. So as always, take care of yourself and each other. Raise your teacup high, and remember that to drink tea is to enjoy life. I will see you guys really soon, or maybe at a farmer's market. Bye for now.